I have a hypothesis. The characters are not stuck. They are saved. This is all an experiment to create digital duplicates of human consciousness and their long-term storage on a server. All the characters are digital replicas of real people who voluntarily participated in this experiment and are doing well in the real world. Considering the age and character of the characters, it can be assumed that their real prototypes are perhaps college students who are looking for extra income. Perhaps the void was the original state of the storage server, but the copied consciousnesses immediately began to abstract, so the creators of the experiment created the digital circus and AI Carii to entertain the consciousnesses and prevent them from abstracting. But this still remains a constant problem. Interesting theory. The variety of character styles reminds me of classic computer games and 3D animation. Over time and with the development of technology, everything looks better and better. Perhaps the crew are different people who entered the game at different stages of its development. Kinger reminds me of classic avatars on forums, for example, AOL Chat, where you choose from a multitude of preset avatars that match your interests. He has no face and relies only on his eyes and hands to express emotions. His knowledge of virtual food also raises suspicions. In addition, he is a member of the royal family, which may indicate that he is part of the development team. I assume that he was one of the first to be digitized in this world, possibly as a member of the development team. Jax really reminds me of classic Sam and Max games. Yes, MatPat really suggested this, and his design animation has a simple color palette, like in 8 16-bit games with a limited palette. And humanoid rabbit characters were very popular. For example, Bugs Bunny, Roger Rabbit, and Sam and Max. He also behaves like funny characters that were popular in classic point-and-click games. For example, Leisure Suit Larry, Space Quest, King's Quest. Zubul, apparently, represents the early days of 3D modeling, when developers simply used different shapes to create character design. Gangle is interesting. It's a mix of classic forum avatars. I remember that on many forums as a preset avatar choice there were theatrical masks, and interesting 3D animation. Very expressive. She reminds me of the hexadecimal system from Reboot. Both characters are mentally unstable, but usually kind. She could have been more modern as technologies improved, modeling the animation of her ribbons and facial expressions, masks. Regatta is a classic Raggedy Ann doll design, almost human, but with a button eye and slightly simplified details. Her legs turned into stumps, and her hair seems to be textured like fur. Remember, it seems, is the most humanoid of all designs at the moment. We see a couple of presumably abstract characters that look hand-drawn, like a yellow cartoon dog, with a large facial expression and all 4 limbs and 2 eyes, nose, mouth. She may represent the latest development of VR headsets scanning process. Kaufmo. Judging by his cardboard cutout and door design, he looks like a classic sad clown archetype of the 70s. His design on the door also seems to be hand-drawn. It's interesting whether his abstract design reflects his real OG design, but we can't get a good look at the other abstract characters in the basement. Another piece of evidence is that Kane is filmed on blue screens during the tour for Remember, and that he doesn't want to show his unfinished work, and that he doesn't quite understand why the crew wants to leave. I know that the creator of the series confirmed that Kane is an artificial intelligence, so he can learn to manage a group. Also, he seems to be able to restore Regatta and Remember after being damaged by Kaufmo. Interesting theory about the digital prison. Your hypothesis suggests that each of the 6 other characters was a dangerous criminal who was selected to participate in an experiment to create a digital prison for holding criminals. Here's how each character might be associated with crime. Zubul could have been a plastic surgeon performing illegal operations. Kinger could have been a mafia boss with a love for chess. Gangle could have been a master of disguise, considering their variety of masks. Jax was probably a cunning swindler, which matches his character. I'm not sure about Regatta and Remember. I would be glad to hear your thoughts on this. The Amazing Digital Circus may follow a storyline similar to Sword Art Online. Remember couldn't remember her name or anything else about herself? This may indicate a connection with Sword Art Online, Alicization, and its Soul Translator, STL, technology. Why do I suggest this? STL can block memories in a person who uses it, which corresponds to the situation with Remember. Another part is related to the theory that they are digital copies of people from the real world. This could also be related to SAO, where many characters in Underworld, a place based on a video game, that is, Sword Art Online, are either real people born in this world or people whose souls were copied so they could live in Underworld. Here's my take on this, and I hope you enjoyed reading this theory. Original theory. So, when I was watching the first episode of The Amazing Digital Circus, I noticed that Remember said, "What's happening? I put on some strange headset, and now I'm here?" Trying to take off this headset. When she said this, I thought that The Amazing Digital Circus might follow some plot lines that were in the anime Sword Art Online. So, the first part that I think will be continued is of course what I mentioned at the beginning of the post, VR headset that can't be taken off. If you've watched SAO before, or know what happened during the SAO incident, you know that players who entered the game used a headset called Nerve Gear, which connects directly to your brain using microwaves and disables your motor functions while it's connected. My theory is that the real version of Remember put on something like Nerve Gear to play a game or for some experiment, and now she can't take it off, being in the world of the Amazing Digital Circus. But there's another part that would be amazing if it were true. It's that Cain is the creator of this world, and that he can return to the real world and the world of the Amazing Digital Circus, using some administrative device that he can have at any moment. This makes sense, as he can create different things, for example, an exit door that led Remember into the void, and have the ability to jump out of the air somewhere else when he's not talking to everyone else. Jax from the Amazing Digital Circus breaks the fourth wall. When Regatta asks Jax why he's looking at her like that, he's actually looking and talking to us, the viewers. Even the fandom wiki mentions this. Jax, along with Cain, are the only characters who break the fourth wall, with Jax looking straight into the camera and commenting, "She still thinks it's a dream," after Remember tries to convince herself that she's asleep. It's strange that Jax, of all people, can break the fourth wall. I would expect Cain to do that, but not Jax. It's also odd that he has keys to everywhere. We don't know how he got them, but if he's a fourth wall breaker, he probably has the knowledge needed to find the keys,